So OpenAI has unveiled Sora 2. It's its most advanced video generation model yet, and it is rolling out this new social app to showcase it. So OpenAI is pitching this as almost a chat GPT moment for video because Sora 2 models physics very realistically. So it's not just making videos look better, it's actually understanding how physics works in these video clips. So for instance, a basketball shot could miss and bounce off the rim in a hyper-realistic way. A paddleboard backflip has played out in video with buoyancy intact. So these elements, this fidelity kind of makes it less like, AI-generated special effects and more like a true world simulator when you are generating a video. And one item here that's really turning heads is the new Sora iPhone app looks a lot like TikTok. It has a vertical video feed you scroll through, except every clip is AI generated. And the standout feature here that you can use with Sora that starts to kind of really make people pay attention is called Cameo, where you record a short clip of yourself and friends, with your permission, can drop your likeness into any AI generated scene. You are considered a co-owner of the result and can revoke it at any time. So this is part of OpenAI's attempt to manage some very real issues around consent and deepfake abuse. And right now the app is invite only. I've had people already ask me if I have ways to get invites. I don't, because I don't have one myself, but it is only in the US and Canada right now, but there is expansion planned. Now, Paul, there's a lot to unpack here. There's a stunning new video model, which alone is really impressive. There's this AI generated video feed. The potential for deepfakes seems out of control. And we'll talk about this a bit. There's some breathtaking copyright concerns as well.
Yeah, so I struggled a little bit with how to unpack this one, honestly. This is like I said, it's such a broad topic, and I was watching very closely last week, looking at all the responses online. And so what I'm going to do is walk through four components here, Mike. I'm going to talk briefly about the tech. I'm going to go through my personal experience because somehow I do have access to it.
Oh,
I
nice.
don't know how, but I do. And I actually have four invites, which now that I said that, they will probably be gone before this airs. So please don't flood me with requests for my four invites. The legal perspective is incredibly important, as you alluded to, Mike. And then what happens next? So, Mike, I'm going to kind of walk through some thoughts here, interrupt at any time, jump in if there's anything you want to add. So, on the tech side, Mike covered a little bit from it. There is a system card that goes with it that it sounds like super technical. It's basically just more deep dive into the technology. So we'll put the link into the show notes. In that system card post, it says Sora 2 is a new state-of-the-art video and audio generation model, builds on the foundation of Sora. The new model introduces capabilities that have been difficult for prior video models to achieve, such as more accurate physics, sharper realism, synchronized audio, enhanced steerability, and expanded stylistic range. Now, those all sound very similar to VO3 from Google. So again, they're not the first ones doing this. I feel like they raced to get this out in many ways in response to how popular VO has become, how viral it became for Google. So just something to keep in mind, they are not the only ones doing this. The model follows user direction with high fidelity, enabling the creation of videos that are both imaginative and grounded in real-world dynamics. My understanding, Mike, is that they're about 12 to 15 seconds is what you can create the video clips.
Yeah.
My personal experience, I only created a few that were permitted. I tried to do some with copyrighted characters. We'll talk about that in a minute. Sora 2, back to the system card, Sora 2 expands the toolkit for storytelling and creative expression, while also serving as a step toward models that can more accurately simulate the complexity of the physical world. That is a recurring theme. You're going to hear this idea. Mike hit on it up front. This is all the basis for things that are much bigger than this. Just always keep that in mind. This is not the end game, what we're seeing here. Sora 2 is available on Sora.com. I just went and checked. You can go and play around with it. You just have to get started. Now, I don't know. I assume you have to have an invite to get started button to work, maybe. When I downloaded the Sora app, it just worked. I don't know why. And then in the future, they'll make it available through their API. It says Sora 2's advanced capabilities require consideration of new potential risks, including non-consensual use of likeness or misleading generations. Our iterative deployment includes rolling out initial access to Sora 2 via limited invitations, restricting the use of image uploads that feature a photorealistic person, and all video uploads, placing stringent safeguards and moderation thresholds on content involving minors. So it's some important context as we kind of move into these other areas that I wanted to touch on. The cameo thing, Sam Altman is everywhere. Like if you didn't follow last week, and like if you're not on Twitter at all and you just didn't see this stuff going on, people like Sam put himself in there to make cameos of him doing whatever, and people took full advantage of that, I would say. So some of them are really funny, some are pretty crazy. But again, like we say with all things AI related, be careful what you upload, like what permissions you're giving once you upload these things. So Sam became like the viral meme last week, just doing everything you could imagine. All right, so my personal experience. So this thing comes out on Tuesday, September 30th. I finally go in Thursday evening, I think I went and tried it. And I just like went and downloaded the app and I just instantly had access. So I didn't know at the time it was because I have a pro account. Like I don't know why. And then at the top left, it has 4 invites. So as you alluded to, Mike, immediately I was like, wait, did I open Instagram Reels? Like, is this actually Sora? It looks exactly like Reels and TikTok. Like it's the same format, same scrolling mechanism. It's just all AI generated. And then there were no, that I recall, disclaimers about creation of anything that infringes on copyrights. Like there was nothing up front. It was just, here's your AI slop feed with all these Nintendo characters and Pokemon and South Park and SpongeBob SquarePants. It was Star Wars, like everything. It was just like all this copyrighted stuff immediately. That was all, that and Sam Altman was all you see in the feed. And so I was immediately like, oh, I will never use this. Like this is not interesting to me at all as a user. Some people may be really excited about that stuff. And so then I thought, well, let me see what it's like to create something. I didn't know, would it immediately go live? Like, am I going to create something and it automatically publishes? I didn't know. And so I clicked the button and I realized like I suck at giving video gen prompts. Like I can't think of creative things. So I actually went into ChatGPT, separate chat, and I just asked for help. And I said, testing Sora 2, write some prompts I can use to test its full capabilities. So it came back with things like a close-up of a glass of red wine being poured in slow motion, droplets splashing on a wooden table, cinematic lighting. I could never write that. An underwater library with glowing jellyfish drifting past shelves of ancient books. So I'm like, okay, these are clever. Like that would create something fun, I guess. But then I was, I think at the time I was watching the Guardians playoff game, which I don't really want to talk about because I'm still sad about it. But so I was like, all right, give me some related to baseball. So it was like popping up with some stuff related to baseball. And then I knew that it was generating all of these copyrighted characters. Like I knew it was able to do this. So I said, make them more creative and fun, incorporate well-known characters. So then it starts writing ones like Batman stepping up to the plate in full armor, the Joker pitching with a wicked grin, Gotham skyline glowing in the background. So I was like, all right, let's give that a try. That sounds kind of cool. So I hit the create button or whatever the button says, and it immediately pops up and it says, this content may violate our guardrails concerning similarity to third-party content. So I was like, oh, okay, like how is everybody else creating all these characters if I can't do it? So I try one more. So I tried Harry Potter using his broomstick to chase down a fly ball in a magical baseball game at Hogwarts, Quidditch hoops in the background. Boom, this content may violate our... I was like, oh, they put some guardrails in our place. So this is 48 hours later. The feed is still filled with all of these characters, but I'm now not able to generate it. So they've obviously kind of made some changes. So this then leads me into the legal aspect of all of this. It is blatantly obvious that this thing is trained on an immense amount of copyrighted content, including shows, movies, and video games. And so you immediately got, by like, again, Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, people had access. They started immediately tweeting things related to AI slop and the legality of this stuff. So there was one, Pietro Sciorano, CEO of Magic Path. I don't know Pietro. This tweet just ended up in my feed. This one made me laugh. He said, man, imagine being Mark Zuckerberg spending billions to build a slot machine, slop, S-L-O-P, not slot, only for another slop machine to outslop you days later. I thought that was pretty funny. He's referring to Vibes from Meta. So then on Wednesday, October 1st, a day after it launches, we already have, or 2 days after, we have commentary from Sam Altman. So someone had tweeted, this is, like read this verbatim. Sam Altman 2 weeks ago, we need $7 trillion and 10 gigawatts to cure cancer. Sam Altman today, we are launching AI slop videos marketed as personalized ads. So Sam actually retweeted that and said, I get the vibe here, but we do mostly need the capital for building AI that can do science. And for sure, we are focused on AGI with almost all of our research effort. It's also nice to show people cool new tech products along the way, make them smile, and hopefully make some money given all the compute we need. When we launched ChatGPT, there was a lot of, quote, who needs this and where is AGI, unquote. Reality is nuanced when it comes to optimal trajectories for a company. So it's like, oh, okay. So Sam's basically admitting, yeah, we're just kind of filling this, world with some crap, but it's going to make us some money and it's kind of fun along the way. Doesn't address the fact that they're all compute constrained and they can't do all the breakthroughs they want to do because they don't have enough compute. And now they're going to just pour compute into all the inference time compute that's going to go into like generating these. So my first tweet, I think about this was I had shared there was a Star Wars movie clip that was featuring Super Mario characters, blatantly an issue. I said, does copyright law in the US just crumble, or do the major brands fight back in a meaningful way? It will be fascinating to watch this unfold. One thing is clear, the leading AI labs are fully into their don't give an F phase when it comes to copyright and IP law. Then on October 3rd, Ed Newton-Rex, who we've mentioned numerous times, who worked at Stability AI on AI models, he was replying to a video of Michael Jackson. Looked completely real. You put this thing on Facebook, your parents and grandparents think Michael Jackson's alive again. Like it looked like exactly like him, sounded like him. So he said, even if OpenAI now tightens Sora's guardrails, the damage has been done. They will have used people's copyrighted intellectual property and likeness to go viral, getting them to #1 in the App Store, which will let them make a ton of money. This is why after the fact opt-out is so parasitic. So now, a few days later, we're Friday, October 3rd, Sam has now dealt with all the blowback. They, I assume, have heard from Disney and all the other rights holders that, control these characters. And so he publishes a blog post called Sora Update #1. In this post, he says, we have been learning quickly from how people are using Sora and taking feedback from users, rights holders, and other interested groups. We, of course, spent a lot of time discussing this before launch. I think that's a lie. But now that we have a product out, we can do more than just theorize. Keep in mind, there is nothing that we've already talked about here, Mike, or that has come out since that couldn't have been not just theorized, but known was going to happen.
Right.
You don't train a model on all this copyrighted stuff, allow people to output it, and not know that you're going to get massive blowback. You absolutely know that. So it's disingenuous to even I don't know, that paragraph really bothered me. But anyway, we are going to make 2 changes soon and many more to come. First, we will give rights holders more granular control over generation of characters, similar to the opt-in model for likeness, but with additional controls. So we're going to allow Disney to say if they want their characters created, is basically what he's saying. We are hearing from lots of rights holders who are very excited for this new kind of interactive fan fiction and think this new kind of engagement will accrue a lot of value to them, but want the ability to specify how their characters can be used, including not at all. We assume different people will try different approaches and will figure out what works for them, but we want to apply the same standard toward everyone and let rights holders decide how to proceed. Second, we are going to have to somehow make money for video generation. People are generating much more than we expected. No way. That it's an invite only. You controlled this thing. There's no way OpenAI isn't smart enough to project usage. So again, this whole article just bothers me because it's unnecessarily gaslighting, I think. It just wasn't needed. You knew all this was going to happen. So we are trying to come up with some revenue sharing thing for rights holders so they can make money along the way. Okay. So then also Friday, another tweet. And again, some of this is just giving perspective. I don't know this guy, Reed Southern, but it was a good tweet. He said, if your copyright is contingent on opting out from anyone who randomly decides they're going to use your work for profit, it becomes effectively worthless. There's a reason it doesn't work that way. No one else is allowed to do this. Why are AI companies the exception? Then Bill Peoples, who's the head of Sora at OpenAI, tweets Friday night, or this was Sunday. Good to see quick changes. Oh no, this was me. I was replying to a tweet from Bill Peoples saying some of the changes they were making. I said, good to see quick changes. Still shocking that OpenAI and others are releasing these apps models with so little testing and so few safety and control measures for such obvious issues. Can't they just prompt GPT-5 to identify and fix this stuff before releasing it? So that was like, again, I know the answer to this. They probably did, and they chose to just do it anyway. So then Saturday night, I was like, I want to talk about the legality side of this, but Mike and I aren't lawyers. Like we can like theorize about this stuff. But I was like, I have friends who are IP lawyers, so I'm going to email one of them. So I emailed my friend Krista Laser, who's an associate professor of law at Cleveland State University, College of Law, and owner of Learn Innovation Law. She's an IP attorney, shorthand. So I emailed her 4 questions. So the first one I said, is their approach legal? And she actually put a YouTube response up. So we'll put a link to that in the show notes. You can listen to her whole, like it's like 5.5 minutes. I'm just going to give you real quick highlights here. So I said, is their approach legal? She said, we've had courts come out mixed on that, meaning the training on this data. And it's possible that some amount of training on lawfully obtained copyrighted works will be considered fair use, but there's no indication that OpenAI paid for access to these copyrighted works to engage in their training. Another question I have for her is, are individual users, this is important for all you listeners, are individual users who choose to output copyrighted material using the model or app at legal risk? The short answer to what she said is yes. Unless OpenAI has licensing deals with the rights holders like Disney that they sub-license to users. So in their agreement with Disney, they're allowed to transfer a sub-license to you, the user. Then there's potential legal jeopardy for Sora users who create videos without permission. So you create a funny thing with Mario characters in the Star Wars movie, and maybe you get a letter saying, take it down, and here's the legal ramifications of your actions. And then in terms of what happens next, she said it's pretty clear that OpenAI has shifted towards more of this opt-in model because it's legally a lot safer. So they've already made change to, hey, it's going to be opt-in. It's much safer, obviously, to negotiate up front with rights holders and to make sure that, especially if a rights holder like Disney, for example, has said no, that you are not training on or especially outputting things based on that. So again, we'll put the whole link there to her video. So final thoughts here, Mike, where this goes. What they're doing, just in case it's not blatantly clear to everybody, this is what they wanted. Like, they wanted to get a viral hit. They wanted it to get to #1 in the App Store, which it did. So they got what they wanted. They claim it's part of their iterative deployment strategy, which it is in some way, which means, hey, we're just going to put tech out in the world and see how people use it. Again, there is nothing that has happened in the 6 days since this came out that they couldn't have predicted and probably didn't predict. The real reason they did this is for competition. Google got one up on them with VO3. There's other stuff coming. There's other models coming, and they had to just get out ahead of it and get it out there, and then create enough demand for the stuff that then it like proves the model, and now people have to come to the table and negotiate with them, basically. The other thing is Dev Day is October 6th today, like later in the day than we're recording this, and there's other stuff coming, and my guess is they just wanted to get it out there. On the tech side, they said at the end of their Sora 2 announcement post, video models are getting very good very quickly. General purpose world simulators and robotic agents will fundamentally reshape society and accelerate the arc of human progress. Sora 2 represents significant progress towards that goal. In keeping with OpenAI's mission, it is important that humanity benefits from these models as they are developed. We think Sora is going to bring a lot of joy, creativity, and connection to the world. So that is their macro level. And then one other note here on society and the creator economy. So Mr. Beast tweeted on Sunday, October 5th. If you don't know who Mr. Beast is, he is extremely popular with kids. my kids know him. YouTube, he has 443 million subscribers. I think he's the highest subscribed person in the world.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So he tweeted, when AI videos are just as good as normal videos, I wonder what that will do to YouTube and how it will impact the millions of creators currently making content for a living. Scary times. One other perspective that I found, I want to be as politically correct here as I can. So Vinod Khosla, who's the co-founder of Sun Microsystems and the founder of Khosla Ventures, he tweets, I think this was Sunday night, all the replies to OpenAI's announcement of Sora on X that are criticisms, quote unquote, finally pure slop, are from tunnel vision creatives. Let the viewers of this slop judge it, not, I can't believe this, not ivory tower, Luddite, snooty critics or defensive creatives. Opens up so many more avenues of creativity if you have imagination. This is same initial reaction to digital music in the 90s and digital photography in the 2000s. There will be a role for traditional video still, but many more dimensions of creative video through AI. Okay. My only thought, I'm going to try and say this as nice as I can. If you want to turn the entire creative industry against AI labs and VCs who are funding those labs, this is exactly the tone you take. I don't know why else you would say something like this. What was it? Luddite, snooty critics, or defensive creatives. So for me, as someone who sees enormous potential for AI in the world to do good, but also has tremendous respect and love for human creativity and creators, I really hope this sort of combative messaging stops. Like, there is no good that comes from this other than making you get that dopamine hit when you get to put out a tweet calling people, what is it? Snooty creatives and tunnel vision creatives. That is not going to go well in society. That's not going to play well. There's a whole bunch of people who make their livings who aren't Disney, who can't just sue OpenAI for doing this, who have no voice whatsoever, no control whatsoever, even if they think they've opted out. Like, the vast majority of the people aren't the big brands that have a team of attorneys. It's people who build stuff for a living, who write, who take pictures, who create videos, and to just discard them in the economy makes no sense to me. So I don't know. But again, big picture, this is only the beginning. This is a very crowded space. This is not just OpenAI. Meta's doing it. Google's doing it. Runway's doing it. Like, everybody's in this audio video generation space. There's many more innovations to come and maybe even more legal challenges than that.
Yeah, I'm personally excited to try it out, but it also felt a bit to me like two things, I guess, jumped out when I was looking at this. One, it's game over for deepfakes. Like, I've thought that for a while, and VO3 is comparably amazing. So I realize Sora 2 is not the only one to do this, but I think really seeing Sam just go hog wild, embracing it, I was like, okay, this is game over for this, no matter if it's OpenAI that allows it or others. And then I also have to feel like it's kind of game over for attention spans, because this AI video slop feed is taking off. And like, keep in mind, whether I'm embarrassed of it or not, enjoy short form video on YouTube and TikTok as much as anybody. But you have to also accept they are nuking our attention spans already. Now you can say, hey, maybe it's just a new medium. Maybe it's just creativity expressed in a different way. Right. Very possible. But you have to accept that short form video has ramifications to people's attention, whether you agree with that or not. And I think it's about to go into overdrive. And someone mentioned in one of the tweets or articles here, they were like, just wait until you have a reinforcement learning, and they used the term sloptimized feed, which I really liked. I was like, oh God, here we go. But those were two kind of worrying things that jumped out.
Yeah, I have no idea why I would ever go back into that app. Other than just to test it. Like, from an entertainment value or an educational value, it's zero to me. Like, I just don't find it entertaining at all. But I mean, people were like, they had to shut off the South Park stuff because people were creating entire episodes of South Park, like 25, 30-minute videos, but just stitching stuff together. Yeah, it's going to be insanely disruptive, but I'm interested in the bigger picture of what this is a step toward. I am not interested in a scrolling feed of AI generated crap, which is basically what this is, even if that makes me a snooty critic and defensive creative.